Kim. How are you?
Oh, Rose, it's great to see you. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Welcome to another episode of Casting Notes from Rose and Kim. This is Kim Swanson. She's a casting director from Los Angeles, and I'm Rose Rosen, a casting director in Florida. We fill the entire United States between the two of us.
Right? We just have arms that stretch across and just hug the whole darn nation, right?
That's it.
Um, we just have to reach up to Alaska and over to Hawaii.
I saw the coolest talent from Hawaii yesterday. I'll tell you about it later. Anyway.
Oh, and I got to tell you, our special guest lived for a little while in Alaska.
I mean, how cool is that? So
right?
We're covering so much territory here. I hope she'll come out and join us.
Yes.
Deborah Barylski.
Hey, Deb, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh my God, so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. What an honor.
I have to say, Deb, it has such a special place in my heart because when we met was through CSA, and I was in St. Louis and she was in Los Angeles. And back at that time, this is pre-Facebook or any of that, you could send a message to other members to ask questions. And I sent a question about, I was doing a project in Ohio, and Deb sent this lovely note saying, I don't know, who is in Ohio, but I hear there's a really good member in St. Louis who might be able to help you. Not because I didn't note in my email where I was from, right? And I was the only member in St. Louis. I was like, oh, I have a good reputation. But we got to chatting and I found out she was originally from St. Louis, although she left, during college days and directly after. And so she didn't stay there to cast, but we connected because of that. And Deb has been so instrumental in my career. I have to say, when I would come to LA for meetings and so forth, she was always so generous and opening up her home to me. And when I came out to make the leap to LA, she did that again. She helped me get my first gig in LA. She gave me another gig in LA. So she's been so instrumental in my career. So Deb, I love you for that. I'm so appreciative of everything you've ever done for me. Please know I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for joining us today. It's such a pleasure for me to have you as our guest.
This is the Sisters in Casting episode. Welcome.
Yes. Yes.
All from St. Louis.
All from St. Louis. So yeah, here we are. And Deb is so iconic. I mean, you cast like everything, like everything.
Emmy-Awards, the first time I see Deb's house and the Emmy's sitting there on the piano, she's like, go ahead and hold it. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome.
Every now and then, I've shared this before, every now and then I walk into my house and I kind of like see the Emmy for the first time. And I go, oh, there's an Emmy in my house.
Yeah.
It's not that I forget, but just, when something sits there for a while, you don't see it, right. Like books in the corner and, shoes and under, anyway. Sometimes I kind of like see it freshly all over again, but yeah, I won the Emmy for casting Arrested Development.
That's what I was going to say. Please tell her it's Arrested Development. Yes. Yes. And she cast all 7 years of Home Improvement. Was it Just Shoot Me Still Standing?
Yes, Just Shoot Me Still Standing. The pilot episode of The Middle in the first year. About that time is when I came back here, back to St. Louis. And tons of other stuff that, was around for maybe a year or two that may not be as recognizable.
Right. Deb is really the queen of comedic episodic casting. I mean, crazy, hands down.
Tell me about Liza in just 2 sentences.
Tinier than you ever imagine. Very fragile.
Really?
Just kind of a fragile person. There is kind of a fragility about her, and a game dame.
Oh, I loved all that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's so interesting and surprising, but fun, but not unexpected. Also, Anyway, cool. I'm crazy for her, of course.
Now, Deb had an article somewhat recently through Casting Networks. They have their newsletter, and she hit on some really amazing points of things that actors can do to help themselves and be better humans and that sort of thing. And I would love for her to talk about a couple of those things that she discussed in that article.
Please.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of attention is put on the audition process and audition technique. And I think that sometimes, an actor's life gets lost in the process. You kind of get your nose to the wheel and you forget to, take it off and look around. Two of the things that I recommended to actors in that article were looking at other avenues of artistic endeavor. Even if you are a successful working actor, you spend a lot of time waiting around, and you spend a lot of time wondering if that phone's going to ring or the email is going to chime. And taking classes, and I think that it helps to have another artistic outlet so that all your energy isn't in a basket that you're waiting to pop, you're waiting for that basket to open up and give you things. So I suggested to people to take a class, take a class in writing, take an art class. When I was about into the 4th or 5th year of home improvement, that was about 15 years into my career. And I was bored shit. I was making good money and a good career and working on a popular show, but it started to be by rote. And I thought, somebody said, why don't you take a writing class? So I took a writing class, and then I ended up taking a bunch of them. And it was something for just to kind of shake up my day. Most of it was memoir type writing. And I ended up actually doing a lot of where you read your piece to an audience, like Sit and Spin, or, oh God, I went to like so many of them.
Spoken word type of thing?
Pardon?
Like a spoken word type of thing?
Spoken word, and so where you write, and sometimes, you read what you write to the audience. Sometimes you just tell a story about what you've written, and it just kind of fed another part of me. And so that's what I would suggest for actors. You might find out that you're really good at something else that you didn't know you were good at. Like if somebody invites you to go do something, you say yes, go do it. And I think that's the biggest thing. You might find that you're really good at something else that helps fill that artistic hole that you're waiting for acting to fill up. So that's number one. And then number two is, I think, and I've seen actors do this, and I've seen, not just actors, I've seen a lot of people in the arts do this. They get so, what's the word? They get so engrossed, and and you have to be single-minded. You have to have your eye on the prize. You definitely, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but what I am saying is that I've seen people postpone their life because they're afraid if they go on that vacation, that's when they're going to get that call. If they get married, how are they going to juggle, a relationship, and children, and a career, and blah blah blah. And I think that that life and experiences only augment. I mean, if you fill yourself up with life and experiences, it can only make your acting better.
No question.
So it's like, take time for yourself, go on that trip to Italy. Here's the thing now, the truth is that, especially since COVID, you could send your audition in from Italy. You don't have to be there anymore. So I think there's
they may not let you in right now, but maybe by the time this airs, they will.
Well, I think it's going to be another year before people are traveling, freely. But what I'm saying is, though, is that, I mean, I see this happen to one guy, and I'm not going to say who, and he was in this smash play, and I mean, everybody and their uncle was coming to it, and he was afraid that the producer that was going to offer him a series would come the weekend that he went to his his like 25-year high school reunion. And I just said, I couldn't fathom that. I couldn't understand. I said, your high school reunion, your 25th one, comes once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime. And I said, go on, fly in on Saturday morning, come back on Sunday, you'll miss one performance. And he still wouldn't do it. And he regretted it. He really regretted it. So I guess that's what I have to say about that. And I'm going to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Find your tribe, especially when you first come to LA. You are going to be so overwhelmed by the city, by driving in a city, by the traffic, by how spread out it is. And it's going to be years before you start feeling like an actor. So when I say find your tribe, maybe you'll find your tribe in an acting class or an improv class. I always tell people who are like theater majors who love theater, join a theater group. In addition to having people to spend time with, you also start getting the networking thing going, because it's all about networking. It's about, this person heard about this and you should go do this, and that don't take that class, that teacher is like cray cray, or whatever, that information is. Plus you might get to act while you're waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I have to say.
That's
Those
brilliant.
are all
Yeah.
great pieces of advice,
We
without
found
a
our
doubt.
tribe in the CSA, right?
Yeah.
We found each other there, and I found Kim there, and that's nice. And yeah, I mean, people need people, don't they?
You do, and I always tell actors too, when you first get to LA, just know you're required to have a minimum of 2 meltdowns in the first 18 months you come here. If you don't have those 2 meltdowns, you're not doing something right.
Right.
It's like a rite of passage as well. So don't be too hard on yourself, but I absolutely love the idea of, going and doing something else artistically. Deb, I know you're wonderful with writing, and that's really, that's another one of your many strong suits. Of course, Rose is a wonderful artist and does beautiful work artistically. I actually have one of her pieces. I love it. And I take dance class. Like, we all have to have an outlet, but I also think it makes us better at our jobs,
Right.
Even in casting, but obviously in acting, the more you can experience of life,
Yeah.
the more you have to draw from when you're auditioning. If you've never held a paintbrush at an easel and now you have an opportunity to play a painter, you have no idea, like, nothing feels natural, nothing looks natural. If all those things matter, all those experiences add up, and a really well-rounded human helps create a more well-rounded actor.
Right.
100%. I couldn't have said any of that better. Deb, you are a fountain of knowledge. I hope you come back and see us again. My goodness.
Okay.
Now, Deb, you're doing some acting classes on Zoom?
Since one of the things that I'm doing mostly audition classes.
Okay, good. That's even better.
When I moved back here, I knew that I was going to have to do something to fill my artistic need. Because for the exact same, I'm actually took my own advice. So before I moved back, I contacted two of my alma maters, and I actually had I had been teaching at them before. I would call them when I was in town. Do you want me to come over and talk to your students? But then I've been teaching since let me back this up. When I first came out to California, I was teaching at Cal State Long Beach in the theater department. So I taught at university level for 3 years. I didn't stop teaching through this whole time. But I had to kind of only do it when my casting job allowed. But I knew that, so what I've been doing is I have taught at Principia, SIU, Edwardsville, Webster University,
my alma mater,
St. Louis University, Lindenwood University.
Oh my God.
Then I've gone up to Chicago and taught at a couple of, DePaul, and where else did I teach up there? But since COVID, now what I've been doing is I've been teaching, audition classes, cold reading classes. I also have developed a class about type, what you,
So-
who are you, why it's important.
You'll
And
share with us a link?
no, it's not recorded. It's all, what do you? what do
No,
you
I
mean?
mean a link so people can find you in order to sign up for your classes.
They're mostly done through universities, but I haven't done a private class since Zoom.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, definitely, I can put my email. Why don't you do that? It's really easy. My business email is D as in dog, B as in boy for Deb Barylski.
I'll put it in the chat here.
No, okay, great. At
Yeah.
gmail.com. Okay.
Yes. We'll do that. And no, this is fantastic. And that way, maybe somebody, I mean, you couldn't get a better audition coach than Deborah Barylski. I mean,
No.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, you
without a
can't get
doubt.
too much work out of this. You never know. COVID is crazy.
Yes.
But here we are. But thank you. This was
welcome.
such a delight.
Thanks for inviting me.
No, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.